Hi, and thanks for joining us. This video is going to attempt to answer some of the frequently asked questions I receive about smart home technology. We'll talk a little bit about what smart homes are, talk about the different types of products that are available. We'll talk about the three main platforms that people use smart technology on and whether or not you actually even need one. And we'll talk very quickly about how these products all quote unquote talk to each other. Now, now, setting up a truly smart home is a very complicated procedure and will likely involve paying contractors and technicians to come to your house and set things up. But if you want to try some smart home products, this video will go over how to set them up as simply as possible. So many products now can hook up to your home Wi-Fi and provide you with real-time information and lots of convenient features. Home automation is not like the Jetsons cartoon. It's not having robots run around and do things for you. It's just getting connected appliances and electronics that provide you with information or make accessing them easier. Smart home tech allows you to control your electronics or appliances or various things throughout your home, either through an app on your phone or through voice control through a smart speaker. Smart homes provide a lot of the same information we can obtain from staring at our phones without actually having to stare at our phone. We can set reminders or speak to people throughout our houses using the speakers like an intercom. Retrieve information on the fly without having to stop and sit down and type something out and search for it. Smart home tech can automate things throughout your house. You can set your dishwasher to come on after you've gone to bed. You can set the lights to come on before you come home in the evening. You can have your air conditioner kick in just before you get home to save you some money. The biggest challenge associated with smart home tech is the cost. Compared to the non-smart alternative, there is a significant price increase for the smart product. If you look at light bulbs, for example, regular LED light bulbs might cost $1 or $2 each, whereas a smart home light bulb could be 10 times that amount. Smart home tech also takes a level of understanding and planning and organizing. Devices have to be on the same network to talk to each other. If you set up an Apple home and then you buy smart products that are only compatible with Google, they're not going to work in your smart home environment. So the consumer has to be aware of what they have and what they need and what's going to play well with each other. The technology can be complicated, and setting up a whole network of smart home products often is going to take some sort of technician coming to your house, helping you set it up, and then teaching you how to use it. And there is going to be an expense associated with that. From a friend of mine who had a technician come and set some things up in their home, the technician was about $85 an hour, and the full setup took about 10 hours. So it is quite an expense to set this up. Another consideration for smart home products is they do rely on the internet. So if your network does go down, you do lose control of your devices. Finally, there is a privacy consideration for smart home technology. For your voice activated speakers and assistants on your phones to work, the speakers are always listening. Now, if you just want to try a smart home product, you don't need to go and invest in a whole network hub to drive this stuff. Most smart products come with an app that you can download onto your phone, and that app will work that one device. If you have a smart light bulb and you drive the light bulb with an app on your phone, that's totally fine. The challenge is if you have multiple smart products at home, you don't want to have 10 different apps to do 10 different things. This is when we start looking into a smart home hub. And there's three major hubs that people use. There's Amazon and Alexa, there's Google and the Google Assistant, and there's Apple and Siri. Some of these hubs live and work on our phones, whereas other hubs require a separate piece of hardware. And usually this hardware is one of the smart speakers that you can buy. Well, if we're looking to invest in multiple smart home products, we need to make sure that those products are going to work on the hub that we choose. So above me, you'll see a picture for a smart plug. And smart plugs are neat because they can turn pretty much any device into a smart device. We'll talk about them a little bit later. But on the box, you'll see that it says right at the bottom that it works with Google Assistant and it works with Alexa. What it doesn't say is that it works with Siri. So if you have an Apple hub at your home, this is not a product that is going to work in your hub. You really have to pay attention when buying products to make sure what you're purchasing is going to work with the system you choose. Now, for some of the hubs, you need to buy a second piece of equipment, as I mentioned earlier. Apple and Siri, the hub lives on your phone, so you don't need a specific piece of equipment for Siri. But if you're trying to set up an Alexa home or a Google home, you will need to buy a hub. And the hubs are traditionally smart speakers. These speakers have the programs inside them that will allow all of your products to talk to each other. If you want to be able to voice activate your lights and voice activate your smart plugs and voice activate your thermostat, you're going to need one of these speakers. There's now a wide range of these smart speakers available. Some have screens on them, some are very tiny, some are made by high-end speaker companies that create just phenomenal sound in your home. On top of driving your home network, these speakers have a lot of other cool functions that they do. They do serve as a radio. If you have subscriptions to, say, Spotify, they're fantastic stereos for your home. You can play podcasts through them as well. You can program timers and alarms to wake up. You can get news, sports scores, weather reports. You can ask them questions the same way you would Google anything. One of the functions that I appreciate in the speakers is the intercom feature. I have children at home who are playing games with their doors closed, and when we call them for dinner, I don't like to stand at the bottom of the stairs and yell. I can communicate through the speakers as intercoms and call them down for supper. You can make phone calls through them. And as mentioned earlier, you can control all of your smart devices that are connected to your hub through the speaker. So Amazon has their line of speakers. They call their speakers the Amazon Echo, the Amazon Dot. They are at various price points. Some of them are as cheap as $30, and they can go into the hundreds of dollars. One of the other things that you can do with an Amazon speaker is you can tell it to buy you things from Amazon if you're an Amazon member. The speakers are always on, listening for a keyword to activate them. So with Amazon, you have to say, "Hey, Alexa," and off it goes. Now you can reprogram them to respond to a different voice prompt. Maybe you have a child named Alexa, and if you're yelling at them, you don't want the speaker to go on all the time. So you can change the voice prompt associated with these speakers. But the traditional default one for the Amazon speakers is Alexa. There is no monthly fee for these speakers. After you've purchased them, there's no other fees other than fees that would be associated with your streaming services. So paying for Spotify or things like that. In addition to the Amazon branded speakers. Alexa is also available in other smart home speakers. Big brands like Sony and JBL, they make Amazon home smart speakers as well that do all the things the less expensive ones do, but they're going to sound better. If you are going to use your speaker for home audio, investing in a speaker that's a little more money is going to sound much better. It's much richer sound. There are smart home speakers that have screens attached to them as well. So if you want to call up videos or ask it to display recipes or photos of your family or do video conferencing through them, there are smart devices with screens as well. Finally, the last word on Alexa is that it is relatively simple and straightforward to set up. If you are an Amazon Prime customer, a lot of the setup is going to be done by Amazon for you. So if you would classify yourself as a tech beginner, the Alexa speaker might be one of the more straightforward ones to try to use. The Google Assistant lives in the Google speakers, often called the Google Nest or the Google Home speaker. What sets Google apart from, say, Amazon is Google works with some rather high-end speaker companies that have much nicer sounding devices. Even their branded speaker, the Google Nest, the small one, the sound that comes out of those is pretty impressive. If you are using these to listen to music, they sound really, really good. If you want them to sound great, there are speakers made by companies like Sonos and Bose and Marshall that are really rich, powerful, great sounding speakers. So if you're streaming your music through these, some of the Google speakers are going to sound best out there. The Google speakers work in similar fashion to the Alexa speakers. The voice prompt is different. You're saying, "Hey Google" instead of "Hey Alexa." But Google does a few different things. For example, being able to stream music over YouTube through the Google speaker is much easier. Setting up voice profiles. So if I tell the Google speaker to play a movie on Netflix, it's going to recognize my voice versus if my child does it, and it would prevent my child from watching a restricted movie, for example. You can set all these things up in Google. So a few more complicated things that make it a little less beginner friendly than, say, the Amazon one, but a few more bells and whistles if that's your thing. To set up Google speakers, you do need a Android-based phone with the Google Home app on it. Where the hub lives in an Amazon speaker, the hub for Google kind of lives in between the speaker and your mobile device. So you kind of need both for it to play properly. If you try to set up a speaker without the Google Home app, you're going to have a very difficult time doing that. And then there's HomeKit by Apple. Apple Home is the hub. It lives on your cell phone. So here's an option where you don't need to buy one of the home speakers. Apple does make home speakers. They're called HomePods, and they'll work same way that the Google and the Alexa ones do, but one isn't needed here. Apple is designed to work with Apple products. If you are an Apple customer, all these products are going to work together. If you decide that Apple is your life and you're going to have a house full of Apple products, what you will notice when you go shopping is there are much less smart devices available for the Apple environment. And this is because Apple is very stringent on their security and their encryption, and it's hard for products to reach Apple standards. So you really have to make sure that the products that you're buying are Apple compatible because there are a lot less of them. Apple Home is run by Siri, and Siri is the voice assistant that is on your iPhone and your iPad and your watch and all of the other Apple products you own. So if you're used to speaking to Siri, setting up a smart home with Apple is going to be pretty straightforward. So I do appreciate that this is confusing and hard to follow, but to summarize, if you want an Amazon-based hub at home, you need to purchase one of the Amazon smart speakers. If you want a Google-based hub at home, you need a Google speaker and you need the Google Home app on an Android phone. If you want an Apple-based hub at home, you don't need to buy a speaker. You just need an Apple device, an iPod or an iPhone, and you can set it up from there. So now that we've picked a home hub system, let's talk about some of the different products that are out there. We'll go over some of the more common products. There are dozens and dozens of categories of smart products now, but some of the more common ones that people are going to start their smart home journey with include light bulbs. Smart light bulbs are very easy to use. They don't need to be plugged in or rewired. You take the old light bulbs out and you replace them with smart bulbs. Once they're turned on, your device is going to find them. And usually you need an app to set them up. But once they're set up, you don't need the app anymore and you can just talk to your light bulbs. Hey, Alexa, turn the lights off. Lights can be set up to work together. So through the app, you would identify light bulbs as your living room or your kitchen or your bedroom. And then using voice prompts, you can turn those lights on and off. As mentioned earlier, smart bulbs are not cheap. Starting price is around $10 a piece. So replacing a whole house with smart light bulbs at once is a very expensive endeavor. Starting room by room as light bulbs die is one way to go about kind of controlling the cost associated with these. Another popular smart home device is the smart thermostat. Often the utility companies will have rebate programs available that you can take advantage of to purchase one of these. These thermostats help you save money in the long run by allowing you to decide when your furnace or your air conditioner comes on or turns off. You may already have a programmable thermostat, but this allows you to manage your heat and your air conditioning in real time. Smart plugs are great because they can turn any device you own into a smart device. Essentially, the smart function is your ability to turn on and off the power to whatever device you have plugged into this. There are different types of plugs based on need. So if you're planning to plug exterior lights into a smart plug, make sure you get a smart plug that's rated to be outdoors. If you're using power bars, make sure the smart plug is only turning on and off the things you want it to be turning on. And again, as mentioned earlier, make sure the smart plug is set up for the type of hub that you're choosing. Another common smart device that people upgrade to are smart locks or smart security cameras. Smart locks are great because you don't need to carry your keys around with you. You can unlock your door with a voice command. You can unlock your door just by holding your phone up to it. You can email out or text out permission for someone else to open or unlock your door. The security doorbells or security cameras are great because they allow you to see who's at your front door, allow you to monitor if packages have arrived, or some of these cameras have subscription services tied to the monitoring and recording of content captured by them. These subscription costs can run anywhere from $3 a month as high as $20 for the ultra premium package. So if you are investing in one of the camera-based doorbells or locks, Just be aware that there is going to be an ongoing fee if you. So that is an introduction to smart home technology. I appreciate it is a complicated subject to discuss in a short video like this, but you may find that it's just a novelty and it's less convenient to turn your lights on and off using your phone versus the light switch that's already on the wall. Technology isn't always convenient. Sometimes it's just impressive to see what is possible. So as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.